Dehaven, welcome, man. I'm excited to have you. How is everything?
Oh, man, I'm blessed. Everything is good, man. Everything is good.
Yeah, you look happy. You have a demeanor. I must say, you give me the vibe of like a church-going person. I don't know. You just remind me of people I've met in my life that be in church. Yeah.
Nah, serious.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, you'll see me Saturday night, you know what I'm saying, in somewhere having a ball, and yeah, definitely I'll be in church Sunday.
Yeah. So I grew up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and like the old Brooklyn, like my family is from that area, and it's like we are big fans of that movement, like the Jay-Z movement, obviously.
Right.
And your area wasn't too far.
That's right.
Can you just tell me about the street?
Bushwick section or Bushwick projects?
I'm from Havemeyer, Marcy. That's
the section. Okay,
yeah. So I don't even know, what does that mean, this section?
Oh yeah, because you got Bushwick section, which Bushwick, Avenue runs all the way up. That you would call that Bushwick section, and then you got a Bushwick projects, which is like Marcy and Sumner and Tompkins and all the rest of the projects. So I always say, when some people are like, yo, I'm from Bushwick.
Yeah.
Like, you from the area or you from the projects?
Yeah, so y'all like that area is close, but it feels far away. Like depending like on the demographics, the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell me more about the streets, the layouts? Because I feel like you talk about your neighborhood all the time. Who doesn't? But what was like unique about that area? What was like the setup, the layout, the way people walked around,
At what time? Like back then?
Back then, when you was in 20, or how it changed from 16 to 20 to 30. Like, what was the evolution? What was the de-evolution? What was your lair, your stomping grounds like?
I mean, by not having a difficult childhood, right? So it was all love, man. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain to a young person, right? The times of trying to explain to them what family was, what neighbors was, you know what I'm saying, and what a community was, right? It's hard to explain to a whole generation that didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like real fall on deaf ears to this generation. We'd be like, yo, we didn't do this, or we didn't act like that. Our girls didn't talk like that back then. You know what I'm saying? We had different kind of role models and stuff that told us to stay in school, not join gangs. You know what I'm saying? All the OGs, I ain't gonna lie, whether they was hustling or getting high, their number one thing was always stay in school. They never said, yo, you should be doing this. I ain't never heard none of them tell us that. So, it's a whole different, trying to explain it like what it was back then, but it was all love. Like, you was okay somewhere in another area, and people would, take you in, your neighbors. It just was a whole different soul kitchen, like Big Mama.
Yeah, so you grow up in the neighborhood, and much like me, I grew up in a neighborhood where the schools weren't the best, right? The school I went to in my neighborhood was one of the worst schools in the city. Mm-hmm. So I always wondered, like, the education, what was that like?
The teachers cared about those who cared about learning. You get what I'm saying? The teachers cared about those who cared about learning, and the rest, the outcasts, I can't really say, because all the teachers was cool with me. They begged me to stay, but I don't know. I was bored with school at an early age, I guess. I don't know what it was about school, but I was so good at sports that's what got me by. What I'm saying? So, but the teachers were a lot more hands-on. And, like I said, they ain't have to do much because your mom and your teacher knew each other. Like, your mom would really respect what the teacher said. You get what I'm saying? If your teacher called the house, it was a problem back then. Now teachers call their house and they have an argument with the teacher, these parents.
Yeah.
So,
So I think one thing you said that was interesting is like you grew up well. Like it wasn't like you're talking about somebody who trying to position like, oh, this was tough. So you feel like you had access to resources, everything, good food, teaching, all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, as being a kid, I mean, I enjoy everything that a kid was supposed to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Far as you know, how to treat women, how to respect my elders, how, you know, all of those things.
Yeah.
So, you know. Mm-hmm.
What level of street smarts do you think it takes to like for a normal person? Because how do you define street smarts? And is there any examples of what that may be?
Street smarts. Some learn faster than others. Some not out there on the street. But street smarts is, you know, is street smarts. Knowing, you know, to be, you know what to be aware of. Street smarts, you know, I mean, you so many. Case in point, like street smarts. I wasn't like street smart to know not to stop here and think that I could find a red ball under this cap that this dude right here, street smarts. He got the red ball under the cap, finding the red ball under the cap. And I end up using all my school money. You get what I'm saying? So street smarts, know that the scam is on you. You know what I'm saying? I was very observant about everything around me. I don't know if that's a Gemini effect or something because of my sign or whatever, but I always was aware of everything around me and always was thought that I was, you know, could be, if I seen something, I would be challenging myself and be like, I think I could do it better. You know what I'm saying? I think I could do it better. When I was a kid, like when I was like 15, 14, I was at the supermarket and I seen it's 7 red cash registers and nobody packing bags. You know what I'm saying? I could think ahead, like, I know that this man is not going to be mad if I ask him, let me pack a bag. You get what I'm saying? I knew how to put a plan together, you know what I'm saying, to always keep money. So I was observant about everything.
That definitely knew a bunch of my friends who did that. So eventually, I think you kind of outlined it, right? Is like thinking you too smart for the streets can get you into something. So you eventually talk about like in your other interviews, like life of crime and kind of how that was prevalent. And in many ways that's embedded and kind of the opportunity that is there. But how easy is it to get into a life of crime? Is it like a snap of the finger? Is it even stigmatized at that point?
How easy it is to get into a life of crime?
Yeah.
Like now?
Back then.
Back then, I really say like it was a choice. It was really a choice, you know what I'm saying? To like, I didn't want for anything to have to be like, man, I want to sell drugs. I could have chose a different route. It's just, that's how life is going to be for anybody, really. You're going to make some choices, you know, about crime. When it comes to crime, you know, all the people that I knew that was doing crime always taught me, this is what I do, and this is what I'm gonna pay consequences behind anything, you know what I'm saying, in this crime thing. The only thing leads to in crime is jail, death, and penitentiary. I mean, jail and death.
So you were like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. So you were like 15 years old at the time.
The life of crime?
Yeah.
To be honest, man, I wasn't good at crime, man. I wasn't good at crime. I'm going to tell you a story, right? To be honest, right? Let me tell you how bad I was at crime. I think one of my first robberies, right? One of my first robberies with Jay. I was with Jay, right? And so I said, yo, Jay, we got to go do a robbery and shit. And this is how I knew stick-up shit, robbery shit ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, we go on a robbery, and next thing you know, we catch these 2 guys in the train station. Boom. I back out on them. Yo, this you know what it is type of thing, robbery. and I go through their pockets and take all their stuff out their pockets, and I just leave, run from there. Right? I just left. I ran from there. Like, 2 minutes behind me, Jay come running like, yo, how do you leave and you got the gun? You understand? Like, how do you leave and you got the gun? And not only that, look, you left the jewelry and everything. I had to take their jewelry off their neck and shit. I was like, you know what, man?
So Jay actually had to finish the robbery?
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Right?
like, okay.
Nah, no bullshit. I never told nobody that story. But honestly, that's what I knew for sure that I'm not no stick up. That ain't for me, man.
That sounds like a comedy. But yeah. So, but you eventually do establish. So it was just like making the game work for you versus just going with the first thing that you eventually see to do, which is, I guess, stick up crimes. When you do that, do you ever think you could really get locked up? Because I'm from neighborhoods where I think people don't ever see like that gavel like banging in court. They just kind of get into the motion, and whenever it happens, it happens. Did that ever occur?
What you mean?
Like, did you see the consequences for real? Or did you kind of think like...
Oh, nah. Did you see the consequences?
Yeah.
I knew the consequences. You know what I'm saying? I remember talking to my stepfather and stuff. He was a straight criminal, right? A real criminal, you know. Been in penitentiary all his life, from juvenile, known in the prison system. And I used to talk to him. I used to be like, yo, I beat this. I bailed out on this case. And I got my lawyer on this case. I used to tell him about 3 or 4 cases that I had at one time. Right? He was like, yo, well, you know what? You ain't doing nothing but putting little pieces of meat together, and it's going to become a hamburger before you know it. You know what I'm saying? And those going to be the consequences of you having all these cases, right? And sure enough, you know what I'm saying? When time came for me to start my first bid, that was the first thing the judge said. It's like, yo, look at all these cases, man. I can't give you less time than all of these cases and shit. So, yeah, I always understood and knew the rules and consequences when it came to messing around in them streets.
Did anybody ever like try to stop you in a way that was... Because I do see sometimes when you are in that life, like the results speak for themselves. Like you got the cars, you got the women, you got... Even parents, sometimes they feel that providership that you provide. Here's the rent, here's the cable, here's everything you want. Did anyone try to stop you, or was the success just too much of a proof about what you were doing?
Yeah, somebody, they try to stop me, but trying to think was that a 2-part question? Because that's why I quit and got out the game, because somebody stopped me. It's like, we had enough. We had enough money, cars, property, and we had enough. And when I did that, 3 years later, the government came and got me. So, you know what I'm saying? What good did that do? You know what I mean? Could you imagine that now? You know what I'm saying? Somebody convince you, yo, look, stop right now. This is what? This is what I got. God damn near $500,000 almost. Cash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We may have talked all night. I'm telling you, my shorty talked me out of that shit, man. She was like, you know what I'm saying? This shit is like, what more we need? And I was like, you know what, you're right. We pack all our shit and we move down south. We just having, love and life and shit. And next you know, what? Yeah, they got an indictment. They looking for you. What? This should be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you're not doing nothing, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah. I seen another interview where you said your advice to your younger self, or your advice to other people, would be to get more organized. What does that mean? Like, what did you mean when you said you would have gotten more organized?
Be more organized?
Yeah.
First of all, you gotta be organized in everything you do. You know what I'm saying? Everything you gotta have a plan. And a plan, you have to organize it. That was what the charges was, that I was organized the crime. I organized something. I organized a group of guys that we started getting money, and that's organizing. Damn, I lost my thought.
No problem. We can always edit that.
Hold up. What was it?
I was like, when you said in another interview I saw, you said that you would have been more organized if you were to do it again.
Yeah. So with that being said, right, me trying to help everybody, open up the doors for everybody, me trying to help this one, it's enough money for everybody, me trying to help them. Oh, I really don't mess with you, but I mess with you. But if I show you bringing him anyway, and it's, and that's, now you're not being organized because you're trying to help people. And it ended up in a bad way. So if I more stay organized with what I had in the beginning instead of, trying to help somebody, I would have went a lot further. Yeah.
One thing I think you mentioned was buying the block. So that was a great block to buy at that time, right? All those properties are $2 million, millions of dollars. What was it that stopped you from necessarily buying the block? Like, what was it? Was it like maybe it didn't look valuable? Because these are...
When you say property?
Yeah.
Not being educated, man.
What were the prices like back then?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, bro. I don't know. Man, I don't know if you know Promenade over there, Dumbo. That's Promenade, Dumbo area over there, right? Yeah, I remember looking for an apartment and the lady was trying to sell me a condo over there for like $18,000. And I was like, man, I only want some pussy. I ain't trying, that was my, I was like, I only want some pussy. I ain't thinking about trying to buy this, but I'd never seen through it, but to look at it now and understand real estate now, you know what I'm saying? I was crazy.
I found it interesting because you had mentioned other things you was doing at the time, like parties and stuff like that. Why did you invest in like parties and those types of events?
Invest into it?
Well, yeah.
Bro, we want a party, bro. You ain't looking at that. You think Big Meech was thinking about buying the club when he is the club? He ain't really thinking about the profit of it, but I'm getting so much money, I am the club. When I come out, look what I bring out. You know what I'm saying? That's natural. That wasn't entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different lifestyle. I ain't thinking about that shit. I'm thinking about just being rich, being that nigga. And you know what I mean? You're not really thinking, this is my job. You know what I'm saying? 50,000 a week or whatever. This is my job. What else I got to do besides party and have fun? You ain't really thinking about that.
Okay. When you're like kind of, this is always something I find, because you mentioned the investigation. You said you was far removed from it, but were there signs that you were at any point being investigated, or does it like your
hell yeah,
your spider senses tingling?
No, they pick Emery up first. And then I get a call like, yo, son, they picked up Emery. Like, huh? And he was like, yeah. I was like, damn, that's some bad news. No, the bad news is they said they looking for you too. I was like, huh? They said, yeah, the bad news is they looking for you too. I said, nah, y'all bullshit. I ain't been down there at least 3-4 years. This is what I kept saying. Like, nah, I've been gone.
Denial. Right?
You know what I'm saying? So, this is not it. Yep. Well, next you know, I had a traffic ticket I had to go to court for. Like, feds is smooth with it, bro. There's no, man, they could never get me to play with them again.
So they ain't come knocking on your door at like 5 a.m. with your boxers on?
They played me. They ain't play me. They knew I had a court date coming up in Raleigh, North Carolina. They knew that, right? And let me tell you how that shit helps you out. I went to that court date, and when I got on the elevator, and two guys got on there, yo, bro, the spidey senses you talk about, I was like, shit, these niggas don't even smell right. But hey, I'm jolly though with it. And when we got off the same floor, okay, cool. And then we got in the courtroom, they went to the back, and I sat down. I was just like, okay, I wonder who those guys was. And next you know, nothing is a coincidence. Next you know, the court start. My name is the first name. Like, huh? They was like, yo, as soon as I walked to the bench, they was like, come here for a minute, let me see your ID. Show him my ID. I'm just like, hey, man, we need to talk. Let's go over here and talk for a minute. I'm just like, yo, we U.S. federal marshals, we come to pick you up. And I'm like, what? I said, say that again. He said, U.S. federal marshals, man. I said, the feds? Federal? He was like, yeah. I said, why? He was like, man, I'm just supposed to pick you up and take you back to Baltimore. It's like, Baltimore, Maryland. You know, shit in your head. You like, man, hold on. I ain't been there in a minute. So, what could be going on? And like I said, they came. When you asked me, how did I hear about it? They came through that. When they said they picked up Emory, next I came and picked me up. And, you start the whole federal process.
What is that like? What is the federal process? Are they taking you into a room and give us some names to hate? Or are they doing that type of thing? What's going on?
That's what's ironic about it. They ain't asked me for no names. They thought they had who they supposed to. They ain't asked me for no names. And if they know you and they know how you are, which they know your profile, they ain't even gonna ask you that. They know. Nah, he the type that's gonna take it to the end. He's gonna do, we're gonna give him life. We're gonna set an example for him. You know what I mean? So I didn't get no offer, no deal, or nothing. I had nobody to tell on because I have not been doing anything. Yeah, and it's the process of it is mean, man. It's expensive. It's mean. That's where shit set in, the process. The process on the legal side and the process on the family side. All of that starts to kick in. You know what I'm saying? And, you're trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? You got scams on the lawyer tip. You know what I'm saying? You got scams, you're just trying to get out.
What are scams on the lawyer tip? Because
man, I spent, it was some lawyer assistance, right? Where if you hire a lawyer, they be on top of your lawyer. It's called NLPA, National Public Lawyer something, NLPA. And that was my first line of defense. Somebody told me about them. Yo, if your lawyer's slacking, you can play them and this and that and the third. Man, I paid them about $4,000 or $5,000 off the gate just to, make sure my lawyer doing the right thing. Come to find out, my indictment was sealed. And when your indictment is sealed, they not showing nothing to nobody. To the lawyer, he can't start without seeing your indictment. You feel what I'm saying? He can't start nothing. Yo, the whole time, and then they just took my money. There was nothing they could do with my lawyer anyway. But those are the scams. And then you got, like I said, you're trying to get out of there. You're looking for help. You're looking for family. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see who's going to be by your side. It's a terrible, all that transition right there. Those are the consequences.
So one thing that I always kind of think is like, you got to find the right lawyer. How do you make sure because there's lawyers out there that will sell you, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Nah,
in this case,
the feds. I'm glad I learned a lot. You learn a lot knowing about reading about cases and through a lot of good people. When I first caught the case, when I was sitting in the jail, one of my homeboys was like, I know a good lawyer, federal lawyer, right? And he gave me his number. And I went to him and stuff, and the lawyer was like, yo, if I take your case, I'm gonna need about $70,000 out the gate. $70,000. And I was saying, like, man, that ain't really no money. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm gonna make a few calls. That ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no money. Little did I know, I couldn't make a few calls because them calls ain't came through. Plain and simple. That's the whole other story. So when he told me that, man, I had to started looking at the thing myself. I had to fight for it myself. And then when he told me this, and I started going, hold on, wait up. I'm gonna have to go get a legal beagle. All right, I'm gonna get a legal attorney, right? Said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do no legal beagle shit. I'm going to holler at my man. I'm going to holler at my little brother Jay, right? I'm gonna run him down and tell him what the situation is. So, I run Jay down and I'm saying, Jay, listen, this case right here ain't it. I can get around this. This is nothing. All I need is your help, you know what I'm saying? And he says, look me in my eyes and says, you know what? Yo, don't even worry about it. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. And I never seen him again. And I end up with a legal court-appointed attorney, but I did most of the work myself.
Why do you think you never got back? He never got back to you. Like, what happened? Like,
yo, that's a story. That's a story that shit. I don't know. That's every question or every interview. Like, that's the stuff that leads to you can't answer certain things. You wouldn't make sense. We got an interview today, right? Everything we plan, we schedule, everything. I was on time, this, that, and the third, right? If I didn't show up, would you be disappointed?
Yes, I'd be very disappointed.
All right, then. So, that's the magnitude of like, and then when you see me face to face, what you gonna say?
What happened?
There it is. There it is. So I never even got a chance to be in his face again and go, yo, what happened?
Did you ever run through scenarios of what may have been the case? Because
listen, what could your brother tell you? What scenario could your brother tell you?
I would assume that person's not my brother no more, and then I would try to modify the situation. Okay, so he's not my brother. What caused him to not think that he's my brother and whatnot?
He didn't show up for you, right? And not only this, he looked you in your eyes and said, yo, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But from a different perspective, to give me a peace of mind, it was so good that he didn't show up. Because then I had a chance to read my case on my own. That was a good thing. Because once I read my case on my own and realized, I can get out of this. You know what I'm saying? Opposed from him giving me a lawyers and let them do all the work and come back to me and say, yo, guess what? We got you down. We got you down about 10. Would you take 10? And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, that's how scared I was. Listen to me. I looked at the discovery of the case and knew I could beat it, right? This is when I know they ain't offering me nothing. I'm fighting for my life. But I looked at this, right? But I know if they would have offered me 10, I would have took it. So that's how terrifying I really was.
So I guess what you kind of hinting at is like, if you get the high stakes federal lawyer, they would have looked at it. If Jay would have been like, yo, come in with the OJ team,
it's Pablo Escobar. The jury would have been like, hey, hold up. Nah, they don't play that shit. Yeah. The state's attorney would have been like, yo, y'all see this? You see the team he got? They know what lawyers cost. They would have wanted to know where the money come from for this shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's a gift and a curse. And like I said, I have to look at it from a different perspective so I can have peace. Like, yo, you know what? I'm glad he didn't show up because I wouldn't have gave that paperwork a good eye.
Still, man, going to war with the federal government and you have a legal defender, what they like to call legal pretender sometimes. How do you even kind of map that out? Are you telling that person, yo, I was 3 years removed from the game. This is really what's going on. I saw the discovery. I was only on the phone for 15 minutes. This has nothing to do. Like, how does that even work?
I told my lawyer, after he told me and said, Mr. Irby, I'm asking you, if I can get you at least 20 years, would you be considerate? And I told him, let me say, yo, I'm 30, whatever. I said, 20 years is life right now. You understand? And what I just seen and read, and you asked me that, I really don't want you to do anything else but do everything I tell you. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have nothing but 6 people telling on me. That's it. All we got to do is break their credibility. You know what I'm saying? That's it. They don't got no wiretaps. They don't got none of this. And you asked me to do what? I said, nah, I'm not doing that. We gonna fight all the way. And I'll do the questioning. I'll tell you. And, you know, I was fortunate that I had 2 more co-defendants that was on trial with me, and they had lawyers. So all our lawyers sitting there. And some of their lawyers was hot. Some of their lawyers was really good lawyers, you know, and I was feeding off of them, you know what I'm saying? So it all helped my case, you know what I mean? But end of the day, I did it on my own. And the lawyers, like I said, if Jay would have had to pay for it, maybe it would have went wrong.
Because I think what's funny is that maybe the case study would be Emory, right? I assume he had the high stakes lawyers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he actually gets time because he pleads out.
That don't mean, you know, the thing with the feds is, and this is what the high stake lawyers don't, you know, that's for if you know you beat the case. If you know you ain't did it, that's what a high stake lawyer for, because you know you ain't beat it. You know what I mean?
So you mean if you know you did it, you get the high stakes lawyer too, right? Is
yeah,
that what you mean?
If that lawyer can promise you that he can get you to this, you know, it's all about what lawyers and, you know, the judges, they all together, bro. It's a game.
They friends.
It's really a game. But on a federal level, it's about your guidelines. Yo, you come in here, this your first time, it's that and the third, you got caught with, you know, 50 keys. Yo, it might not be so bad on you. You understand? But you come in here, you get caught with 50 keys, and you've been teenage, you got gun charges, robbery charges, this, that, and the third. You know, they're going to go to the timetable chart. They're going to line up where your guidelines with the years. It's already wrote. It's just, it's like a timetable chart. And you're going to see where you got, they're going to say, oh, yeah, he got in at 200 months, 240 months, and stuff like that. Yeah, his guidelines are 30 years. His guidelines are life, whatever. So, you know, all of that is already written on law. So you don't need to pay so much of a lawyer when you're like, okay, just if you can tell me and you can get me the least of that. You know, if I'm facing life and you can get me 20, yeah, all right, I'll get me a lawyer.
Yeah, so I've got more questions just about the Rico in general, because it is a crazy law that was put on the books to take down the mob, and it's like now being applied to, you know, if I start a podcast and like I do a crime, and it's like they trying us. So there's different layers to the Rico. It used to be like Ricos were seen as like these unstoppable statues, and that when they came, they already had you behind the jail, under the door, whatever. Do you think that's the case now, or do you still think the Rico statue is seen as this undeniable, fault-proof case that you should never fight, or are people kind of waking up like you can fight these cases?
Nah, they ain't really good to fight, because most of the time a Rico is criminal enterprising, right? And it's a group of y'all. There's somebody telling in that group. It's somebody that's going to walk away, because I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be locked up. So somebody told. You know what I'm saying? They bring them in, and they're going to let them know, you know, everything, and that's how it all, they know that conspiracy, they know it got to take more than one person.
Yeah. Do you feel like, because I saw you in another interview, you said like, it's almost impossible to do crime because when they throw football numbers at you, it's like most men are human. They gonna tell. Not most men, a lot of men are human and they gonna tell. So
not from an era, like I just had this discussion. You're right. Like Coming up, like that wasn't a case that, yo, I shouldn't be doing this because somebody might tell. Somebody might tell. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be dealing with the right people, so ain't none of my people's gonna tell. It wasn't none of that going on. At some point, it was like a snitch boom.
You don't think that coincides with the rise of Rico cases? Like
Nah, because people now, everybody using it. You know what I'm saying? That was for certain peoples back then. Now everybody use it. They all using it to come home. They all using it. That's all I see. All I watch is drug shows and killing shows. I don't know. I don't know. You know what that's about. You know, I watch that, and now all I see is people going to jail. And all I know is like, yo, they ain't, you know, there's that many people telling. Like, it's like they had the feds like say, listen, we got more money for you guys or something. Like that is the go-to thing or something. Because everybody going to jail.
Yeah. How you think Rico's changed hip hop?
Because they've been in it. I think they've been in it for a long time. The government been in hip hop for a long time, bro. The government owns some companies in hip hop. I don't understand why y'all don't think the government can run companies. I don't understand where y'all lost thought of the Motorola. Remember that? They used to be like the feds own Motorola when they had the chirp phones. Listen, man, I seen the feds run companies. You know what I'm saying? If you do the history and on Rock Nation, I seen the federal government run companies.
So are you one of those people that think like Rock Nation is pulling strings and stuff like that? Because I saw a funny tweet online. It was like, yo, Rock Nation is like not even a big agency compared to like CAA, like the people who, you know, manage Brad Pitt and that type of shit. So you think like that's really a thing, like, because they all play golf together. That's the funny part. This is all goes to the top. But
I'm looking at this as a different flip of a coin. Like if I was a ex-informant of the government, right, for a certain amount of years, do you know how many government ties that I can have working for them? Like, do you understand the logic in that? Like, I'm an ex-informant, and I have ties. Yo, what else didn't the government need than to have somebody have ties? And now you got money. I know how this business run. I know how this run. Come on now.
Yeah.
I know what this can do. I know what this could create. I know how many people we can send out there in the field. You don't know that is people go to school. The feds go to school for this. They are hip hop. There's some people that know studios and know how to rap and all of that. Yeah. But yeah, the feds, you know, they can run companies, man. Why wouldn't they?
I had this one last question. Like, because you were actually embedded in that culture, were rappers ever seen as like just the fake tough guys in that time, or were they like respected? Because that's the sentiment I always hear.
Rappers?
Yeah.
They was respected for their craft. You understand? They was respected for their craft as rappers. And they respected us for what we did. Gave them something to write, gave them that rap to talk about, gave them the influence to even want to get into the business, gave them the whole picture. But then they washed it down and this and that, and you know, and it becomes this.
So you ain't never listened to a rapper and be like, all right, now you're just exaggerating.
Huh?
You ain't never listened to a rapper kind of talk about street tales and be like, man, these people are just lying. Like,
I see it all the time. It's all through Hollywood. Most of them in there that talk gangster rap, all they doing is gangster. What part of doing a podcast is gangster about you and you doing one about me? How we solidify gangsters? You know what I'm saying? It's like I look at all of that. It's nobody. It's entertainment. You know, so they like, yo, you know, T.I., 50, all this is it's entertainment. T.I. gonna get his money from this. He's gonna push music. He's gonna do numbers online. He's an entertainment. He's supposed to sell it. Cause he damn sure ain't gonna come and get on a plane and come to New York and handle his business on some real gangster shit. So nobody's going to jail. Everybody going to the bank. While, you know, you standing there trying to figure out, going back and forth, giving them the view time and all of that. Come on now, this is entertainment.
Did you happen to, I don't know how much you be online, but did you happen to catch the Memphis Bleek Jazz O sit down?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So I sit there and think about an interview I just seen with Oskino, right? Oskino tells a story about what kind of deal Jay gave him from the gate, right? And this is how happy he was, how it turned his life around and everything. Like Oskino was like, he was at a time in his life, he said he didn't care, but what they gave him was a lifetime opportunity. And he ain't know them from nowhere, and he just rapped for them at the time, right? And now when I look at Jazz interview, and I don't know if it was with Bleek or not, and he says the situation where it went wrong at when it came to a contract for him at Rockefeller Records, and, you know, they didn't want to give him someone that been there, you understand? Someone that built like the foundation and this and that, and they didn't want to like give him his due, right? They didn't want to change his life. You understand? Somebody you knew all the time, somebody that put you on the game, you didn't want to change his life. You know what I'm saying? And so when I looked at that interview with him and Jazz and how they could sit down, you know what, it's cool that they could sit down and talk, but, you know, knowing that, you know, behind the scenes shit, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like it was for Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Bleek tell all the stories in the world about Jay, right? Every story he could tell you about Jay, 17, 16, this and that, and the third. And it's like, if Jay was doing this, Bleek, where was I? You understand? Like, people thinking I want people to talk about me, but I'm just saying, how ironic could it be if I was Jay big homie and you only talk about Jay, right? You get what I'm saying? In every scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, is to be loyal to Jay, you won't say my name? Is it a situation? Can you be over loyal? Can you be over loyal to a person? Do you understand what I mean when I say over loyal?
Break it down.
Can you go to this person's birthday every year that they have a birthday and they not once came to your birthday? Is that over loyal? I'm just asking, or is that just some bullshit to you? You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Is this over loyal that I really would go out there and hurt somebody for you, right? And I know you won't do it for me. Is that over loyal? You get what I'm saying? It's like, people have that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much like that. I'm so loyal to you, but I know you won't do it for me.
Was Was Memphis Bleek around? Because I feel like in a lot of interviews I see,
we from the 5th floor. Okay. He from the 3rd floor. He not gonna be. He was around enough to see Jay. So where was I? You get what I'm saying?
I just never seen you talk about him a lot in the interviews. You talk about
because he keep me out the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And I have so much respect for his mom because his mom was my sister's best friend. So it's family. So, you know, I try to stay away from the Bleek situation. But silence speak volume, right? When people ask me all the time, yo, well, why Bleek don't say, I say he's loyal to Jay. So what does that mean? And some people like, well, what does that mean? Well, he's loyal to Jay, but wasn't, you know, this shit don't make sense.
Are you and Jaz-O still on speaking terms? Do you?
I have no problem with Jaz-O. I think we have said, you know, what's up from time to time on social media, but you know,
Jaz-O was to me he was great at he was ill, but
he's yo man. Listen, he's the truth. He's definitely the truth, man. I would have loved to see him at his peak, at his level, where he could have went. If he would have got the deal he was supposed to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what doors he would have opened up. You see how it's got to work for everybody?
When I saw that interview, one of the things that was interesting is Memphis Bleek says, I want to give Jaz-O his flowers. And it's like for men, a lot of times they get their flowers is that when they die, right? And I couldn't help but think like, do you ever think like, man, well, when will I get my flowers for the stuff that I did, or, you know, just get some type of acknowledgement for the stuff I gave back to the game? Did that resonate with you?
Nah. I get my flowers, but I don't carry it like it's some real flowers because what I done ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? All the drugs and shit, it ain't cool. It didn't, when you realize, you know, the impact on what it done, it ain't cool, but I think I like people to give me my flowers for staying solid in the game. You know what I'm saying? That I'd accept my flowers for staying solid through the whole situation, you know what I'm saying? And not breaking. But I ain't do nothing to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? What I do now, I'm proud of. You know what I'm saying? And what I learned and what I learned from it, you know what I'm saying? I'm really definitely proud of.
Was Jaz-O with because I'm always interested about this, the Nawubian Nation.
Yeah.
That
he was Muslim. I think Jaz-O was, Jaz-O is Muslim. I know he's always been, you know, very intelligent, man. He's a very intelligent one.
Yeah, was that like was the cult thing a big thing back then, or was it kind of just that thing over there?
I don't know, man, because I was doing me, man. Yo, I'm telling you, you know, life is always good, man, for me. Without Jay, and, you know, it's been good. I have lots of stuff like when Jay was in the studios, I had a whole nother life, you know what I'm saying? And I never always lived like they living. Yeah. I've been a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? You know, on different levels.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jaz-O is super talented, but another person that was mentioned during that interview is Sauce Money, another legend as far as I'm concerned with the way he was able to put words together. Jaz-O said he don't speak with Sauce Money. Is that because of like Jay tension as well? Do you? Because I think you had mentioned Sauce Money in some of your interviews, but
man. It don't make sense. It's just, it don't make sense, man. It don't make sense, man. It's hard to believe we all came from this set. Right, and they was able to go somewhere with that situation, you know. And the way it all fall apart, man. I don't know. Yeah, that's sad. I don't know if they don't talk or not, but I think that's crazy.
Yeah, one of the things that resonate with me is when you said in another interview just because you do business with, I think, that like Jay or whatever, don't mean you got to take his side. Who's doing that? Because you got to be talking about somebody with that.
No, just because you do business with him. Yeah, I mean, some people will, it's not, that's what loyalty is. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. At what part is loyalty? Some people would be like, yo, I do business with him, and that might affect my money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I tell a lot of people before, during interviews, like, yo, you sure you certain questions you asked, you know what I'm saying? You sure you want to rock with that? Because, you know how they are when, come talking about, certain situations. But most of the time, man, if it's facts, you can't argue with the facts.
Okay. Do you ever think you expected too much from that situation with, like,
I expected too much?
From Jay.
What did I expect?
Just whatever. When he called,
hold on now. Just whatever. What?
When you called him, right, and you said, "I'm just going by. I'm just giving you the question."
No. What did I expect?
When he said he was gonna look out for you or whatever when you caught the case,
right?
I assumed you assumed he was gonna look out for you when you caught the case. No lookout occurred. Do you think that was maybe he felt like, nah, I don't owe you that, or I shouldn't do anything like that?
Do I think he should have felt like he don't owe me that? And people say, yo, he don't owe me anything, right? He don't owe me anything. I don't say owe me anything, right? I don't say owe me anything, right? I look at it and I tell my story. I tell you a story about, I don't know, 5 or 6 different incidents where I put my life on the line for someone, right? And he tells you this on record. He tells you this, and this is, he told you I taught him the game. He tells you all of this, right? So he established, our relationship, what I've done and what I sacrificed, right? And that's just me, right? Then when we talk about the nights that he was sick or whatever, and then my mom, I gotta wake her up, say Jay's sick, and she get up and she run Jay to the hospital or whatever it may be, right? Right? So with all that being said, right, I'm asking, and I never said he owed me anything, right? What I've just told you, what do you think?
I think I feel like you appeared hurt by just how much you had done as a family. Like it seemed like y'all were brothers. So I think the amount of distance that he created did come as a shock, and there was some level of expectation there. Maybe not necessarily but like just some type of reciprocity for what you had given, like 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, and that's where the betrayal come in, right? Because you ain't gonna do what I thought you would do for me like I do for you. It could be terrible timing when you find that out. You get what I'm saying? It could be terrible timing when you find that out that, hey, yo, he's not gonna be there for you. Like, huh? No, he's not gonna do that for you. But I've done this. You know what I'm saying? I'll just look at it, like I said, for the sacrifices that I laid down. And if you didn't owe me nothing, and then you looked me in my face and said, yo, I got you, don't worry about it. If you don't owe me nothing, you don't feel like you owe me an explanation? An explanation. You just said if I ain't show up, next time you see me, you're going to want an explanation.
Yeah.
Is that asking or is that O? Do I get that? Is that an O? Do you classify that to be an O? Is that something you owe me that?
Yeah, there was. That's a different type of agreement, right? Where it's like,
you owe me that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to do none of that, that means you will walk right by me in the street.
Mm-hmm. You said you was a silent partner in Rockefeller. What does a silent partner mean? What does that look like? Was you giving money to the late?
What a silent partner look like?
Yeah.
A silent partner look like, what you need, Dame? Dame said, yo, fuck with me. I need your help. Fuck with me and help us build this over here. Word? You need my help? All right. Y'all, I need y'all to focus over here for a minute, man. My people's, focus over here. All right. And when I start doing that, helping out like he asked, and I can clear as day, I remember sitting in his crib and Rockefeller album came in the mail. When he came and said, yo, look, we on from here. We on from here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. I was glad to help out.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm always interested about is like just the way early like divisions and relationships kind of materialize in the end. And one thing that stuck out to your story from other interviews I watched is this bike week party, right?
This what?
The bike week party that you had.
Oh, man.
And you said that you had an issue with Dame that eventually bled over to Jay.
Yes.
And you had asked for help or something, or you didn't, you was gonna pay him back, but you couldn't.
I did a whole show and down there and it didn't come out right. A promoter's nightmare, you know what I'm saying? But not really, because these are the guys I put on anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, we could work this out. But nah, it seemed like when that situation happened and Dame came to me and still was talking about more money. And I'm like, yo, this the same guy that asked me, yo, I need you to help me do this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, so I'm going back and forth with Dame, and Jay said it in so many words like, yo, don't worry about that shit, man. Don't worry about that shit, man. No. Don't tell me don't worry about it. Go tell Dame shut the fuck up. Know who he talking to. Like, where did this come from? So if Jay would have checked that from the door, Dame would know them niggas is solid. Ain't no weak chain over there.
So Dame was like being disrespectful, like he was
being arrogant. I don't know where that wasn't the same Dame that said help me. Now this is a Dame that's on some other shit where you see on TV where he yelling, and meanwhile, while he doing all that, my folks behind me like, yo, what you want us to do with him? You know what I'm saying? What you want us to do with him? And I'm telling my peoples, nah, he got his son was newborn. His son was a little kid. So nah, leave him. But Jay was like, nah, leave him. Yo, don't even worry about a headache. No, you need to tell him. So when Jay don't do that, they ain't get more cocky. That's how this is how, them niggas will never last in prison, man. They'll never last in prison, man. Because they don't understand the rules of this shit.
So one thing, when Jay and Dame were together, did you get the sense that it was like a power dynamic that Dame had over Jay? Because I remember Original Flavor, You Think You All That. He was like kind of really deep in the game.
Who?
Dame by that point. And I would say if Jay didn't get on top of Dame, it may have been that Dame had the upper hand in that dynamic. Was that the case? Am I making assumptions?
I feel like Dame got more cockier the more I'm out the picture. And Jay got more cockier because I'm out the picture. You understand? But Dame know who Jay really is. You understand now the method? So you can't carry him because Headache ain't around, because Dehaven ain't around. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that, I seen and heard plenty of times that Dame, punk Jay. Like he don't know, Jay ain't the fighting type. He gonna kill you on some other chess mode shit.
What was like him punking Dame? Like how did Dame punk Jay? Was he just like...
I'm just saying, that was the biggest punking of the world when he said Cameron's gonna be the president. Wasn't that a punking Jay? And Jay don't know? That's punking him, ain't it?
Yeah.
Like, you have no respect for my partner? We ain't discussed that. You punking him. Come on now.
Yeah. Did you ever, when you was around, did you think like, man, these guys ain't gonna stay together that long? This is just too much. Because
man, say the way they celebrate, the way that shit popped off, man, not at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the levels they took that shit to, man, but I didn't think that they will still be holding grudges and like stuff that was so long ago that people changed. I didn't think that they didn't want us in there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I didn't understand. Like they didn't want us in there, and who I would have brought in the door or whatever it may be, who knows? But I know they ain't want us around.
Do you ever have you been in touch with Dame, or do y'all speak, or is it kind of like the last time?
Don't nobody mess with me, man. But the streets, they don't. I don't have no affiliated to none of them, man. None of them. And it's sad. Like, I'm watching Dame. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be the greatest hustler, but he ain't hustling. Or at least I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be doing he could be really getting, and instead of worried about that, he seemed like the old me for a second. The old YouTube Dehaven, that's how Dame looked, right? You know what I'm saying? When I was going around, that shit was bothering me. You know what I'm saying? That's the effect Jay have on these guys and shit. They get delusional and can't fucking focus, and next they can't get in the game or whatever. But man, with the knowledge he got, man, he shouldn't even be talking about being broke. And not that he said he broke.
So one thing I thought that was interesting that you said is he got a spell, like he can put spells on people.
Yeah, it is a spell.
Jay can put spells on people. Is it because he can put words together? And
yeah.
I can make your reality something different because of my...
His words, right? His words influenced a generation of try to get money on how to make it, how you supposed to look, how much money you supposed to get, what kind of clothes you supposed to buy. You know what I'm saying? That's all embezzled in your game, in his plan. Yeah, that's mesmerized. That La Familia forever, we La Familia forever. He said that with Jazzo and all of them, so they really running with it. They living it. So when it comes like it's all illusion, you like, wait, what happened? I thought if one falls, we be each other crutches and La Familia forever and Bleek always be a millionaire for life. And what happened? That's the spell.
Yeah. So one thing I gotta ask is, you had said in your Marcy made which was really well made. I think you got really good people to make that, because sometimes dudes make documentaries and it looks terrible, and that wasn't the case. You had said that towards the end, there was a situation where, and I think you were opening up. You said that Jay had ran with a foul of some people that was close to you. And they apparently shot at him or something like that. And you kind of held, like you didn't necessarily ride with Jay all the way. Do you think that situation kind of played a factor into the subsequent decisions by him? Because that was like a little bit later revealed. That was like the third plot of the movie, where it's like, I didn't even know about that. And you had said that years ago, but I didn't see that documentary until like a couple months ago.
And this is why people say that that we ain't friends, because it was an attempt on his life. Is that what we speaking on? Huh? That's the question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the Drake album. Oh, is that all up? Yeah, all right. Well, man, listen. Jay was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be, right? And I ain't nowhere around. I'm not a part of none of this. I don't know what's going on because I'm in jail, right? He somewhere he ain't got no business being. And my folks see him, right? And my folks see him and says, yo, what the fuck is he doing here? There's no other reason you could be here other than some sneaky shit behind Dehaven back. So I'm gonna throw a few shots at you, warning shots, because they didn't want to hurt Jay. Warning shots that we aware of you, right? So when I come home, my man says, "This is what I did," right? You did? Damn. What do you mean, damn? I mean, damn, like, nah, he was stealing from you, bro. Yeah. So you know if he was stealing from you, you don't know what he liable to do to you. Yeah, you're right. That's the rules, ain't it? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stop right there, right? And I told you about, is there such a thing called over loyalty? Now, did my man throw shots at Jay out of loyalty for me? Or did he throw shots at Jay because those are the rules of the game?
Okay.
You have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? I have to decide that with my man. My man, that's the loyalty to me, and he gonna play by the rules. That's why he's my man. Now, flip the coin. If it was the other way around, I have the same loyalty, but I don't have the same diaphragm, the same thing. I don't have the same reaction that he had. Now, I may have been like, yo, let me go back and see what big homie want to do because I saw him. You feel me? That's me. Yo, whatever big homie want to do, but I'm going to tell you right now, I saw homie stealing from you. You know what I mean? That's me because I'm loyal to you, and that's just the way I would have handled it. But in all due respect, come on. Jay knew knew the whole situation. Like, he had to say that for people to understand, well, if this happened, you shouldn't be friends with him. And, that's not the case. See, the case is he has allowed a voice to narrate the story the way he wants to. But that's not what happened. No. So that's the answer to that. So, for those who view that, really understand that's why this street shit, man, is this ain't the same. All this shit y'all see now, this ain't the same street shit to a whole new level, man.
You call Tata a BA?
Oh, man.
All right, let me start that again because that was too, it might come weird in the edit.
So, it don't have to all be,
Jay? Or
like bad shit, what I mean? I got good stories with Tata or Emery or
so it could be
whatever,
good.
Or about police. Have police really harassed you? What's the police like?
Oh, that's what I did in the first part.
Worst thing you can ever have done in this. What's the worst thing? It's some shit out there you could play with, as you know.
Yeah, like a story. Got it. Like a movie. I mean, not a story. All right. So can you tell me about like the good parts? Because I feel like obviously the negativity is going to flow to the top, right? In this YouTube algorithm world. Can you just tell me about how like y'all were brothers and how y'all got along and like the fun aspects of just growing up together?
Oh, man. Getting money together? See, oh, man, we was getting a lot of money. It's a lot of playtime, man. Like jewelry, cars, chicks, money. Jewelry, cars, chicks, money.
Money, cash holes?
Money, cash holes, bro. It ain't even no lie, bro. That is definitely like, nah, man, and that's the thing, man. Like, the few times that I've been broke, yeah, but that's bad. But getting money for a long time, teenagers, having a responsibility, coming home, bro, and you taking care of family at 17. Do you understand what that's like? You 17 and this is a crack era. You got your family, some of your family members are hooked on drugs. They don't have kids, so you taking care of the kids and stuff. You taking care of your nieces, nephews, you know what I'm saying, and all kinds of shit. You holding down a household, a fort, when the holiday come, everybody's like big unk, big like the head of, we've been doing that since we was young. You know what I'm saying? Taking a load off our mamas, yo. That's what the biggest thing was, taking a load off our mamas and stuff, and whatever they ever needed, that we was there to have it.
And one of the things that I find fascinating about your story is that you say, because I think this is positive, you weren't violent. Like that wasn't like your natural.
Oh no,
that was not why you did not lead with violence. How is that even possible? Is it just like you just communicate?
In the drug game, right?
Yeah.
Nah, man, because I come with a plan, man, and the right choices in people. You know what I'm saying? It's having the right choices in people, and come with a plan where, just get money. Like, violence is not going to get us nothing. That violence is going to mess everything up. Let's just get money. If somebody ran off with my package, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, nigga, if you run off on me, somebody that you could come and say, yo, Headache, I lost that shit. Yo, Dehaven, I had to throw that shit, whatever. If you came and told me, I ain't nothing I could do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of those guys that be like, well, you better go tell your moms, because I know some of my buddies that do that type of shit. Like, yo, you go to tell your moms, you want me to go with you and tell her? You know what I'm saying? Like, the game is serious. So, man, I never wasn't like that, man. You know what I'm saying? If you run off, I'm sure that you would do that to somebody else. And I know if you do that to somebody else, that dude might not be as cool as I am. So I let them go because it ain't going to work for me. So I ain't never see violence in my trying to get some money. You had to have a little fight every now and then, but it wasn't going to lead to no guns and killing people and this and that and the third. Before it had to get to that wasn't my MO. You know what I'm saying? That just wasn't my MO of waste of life. That shit ain't cool.
So we're getting close to the end of the interview. Would you have done anything, like, would you do the same thing again? Anything you would change? Do you love this journey that you've been on? Is it in God's timing?
There's no way I could change anything in the state of mind that I am now. You know what I'm saying? I used to say, yo, I would have stayed in school, now I went to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? But who knows what would the outcome with that would have been. But the knowledge I have now, the family I have now, the children I have now, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy with. Life is good. God is good to me. Nah. I can't change nothing.
All right. I think one thing that's interesting about you is that, like, you put together cool projects. Like, there has been other people who, like, put a documentary together, and like I said, it's been pretty terrible. But yours was actually edited well. I don't know how you got the team together. You said you have a book coming. Can you tell me more about that before we wrap up?
Well, shout out to Courtney Baines, man. He helped me. That was my partner on Marcy Made, man. He's a dope. He dope at what he do. Yes, it took a while, and like I always say, Marcy Made ain't seen his peak yet. That's why I'm still doing what I'm doing and motivated, because God showed me what I'm gonna get when Marcy Made reaches his peak. So yeah, thank you for everybody being a part of that, man. That had, when Marcy Made was being made, I ain't gonna front, I had a great team, man. Monica B, Courtney Baines, Robin G. Yo, I got a supporting team for that. So yeah. So now after the documentary, we had my book dropping in June. I got a surprise title, man. Y'all gonna bug out off of this, man. I'm gonna just bust out with that. Be on the lookout for that, man. That's a bunch of stories you ain't heard before. Some deep things that I went through this journey. It's this journey and the choices I made to get to where I'm at now. I think I'm looking at it like everybody been betrayed, you know what I'm saying? And to certain levels, to where I think this book is really about, you know what I'm saying? It's a good therapeutic book of, what forgiveness will do for you when, you know what I'm saying, someone hurt you the most. You know what I'm saying? When somebody murders somebody, right? Somebody murders somebody's kid. And to have somebody go in the courtroom for that person to be sentenced and they stand up and they say, yo, I forgive you. It's almost on that magnitude. Like, I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't that I forgive you. I forgive you because I can't live with that on my mind. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of my life. So I'm gonna have to forgive you so I can release this tension. So that's what type of book it is, man. It definitely lets you know, man, where it could take you, man, in a dark time, when, you know what I mean, trauma of betrayal.
There you have it, man. Thank you, Dehaven. This was awesome. I was pleasure sitting down with you.
Man,
you gave it up, man. Thank you.
This was dope, man. And I'll be back for the book review too, bro.
Yeah, we would love to have you, man. I'm gonna read that book.
Yes, definitely, man. All right, man, and we out.